It is the 2025 Men's College Cup from Cary, North Carolina. 4 teams enter, 1 will leave as the national champions. Later it's St. Louis and NC State, but right now it's the Washington Huskies and the Furman Paladins. Away we go on a frigid night in Cary, 36 degrees Fahrenheit and dropping, alongside the ex-German pro Devin Kerr. I'm Joe Malfa, joined in a little bit by the third member of our crew, Marion Crowder. Huskies Paladins looking for a spot in Monday's title game. One thing will be evident between these two teams very early on. Your track shoes better be ready. Don't pull a groin in the process. It is going to be end-to-end between these two teams. Ivan Horvat sends it long, redshirt freshman from Slovakia. We'll bring in Marion Crowder, the third member of our crew, down on the field.
Guys, you were talking about it, 31 years at the helm, 10 SoCon titles under his belt, and the legendary Doug Allison knows that it's going to be his final weekend regardless. I talked to him pregame, and he told me that the emotion of this moment hasn't hit him quite yet. And actually, I talked to Jamie Clark, the opposing head coach, and he said, he reminds me of my dad and the strong principles that make long-lasting impact. Guys, this team is making no mistake. This moment is about Doug.
I don't think Marion looks as cold as we do down on the field. Thanks, Marion. Goal kick in the early going here for the Paladins, and there is Doug Allison. 31 years, 365 wins. He's been the coach of the year over and over. The draft picks, the guys who have gone on to World Cups, Clint Dempsey, Ricardo Clark, Walker Zimmerman. What really sticks out, and it stuck out in our conversation with him yesterday, Devin, the emotion and love he has for the people, more so than the players, many of them who are here tonight.
A lot of belief for Doug Allison still in the modern era that this is about developing humans, and he's been so successful. Just over 3 decades, incredible tactically what he's been able to inject into these young men, but the understanding of how to then take the next step as an individual once you're outside of the white lines is what it's all about for him.
That's Luke Munson on the far side for this throw, and he was barefoot, by the way, to begin the night. As I mentioned, 36 degrees. He was barefoot walking around the field.
Show off.
Joey. Yeah, Chuck's good. Chuck's good. What's it? One more.
Luke Hutzel looking through and sent long by Akulov. There's Braden Dunham feeding it along. Dunham was the star last round, scored from about 40 yards out, a left-footed center back. That's after Devin's own heart. Puts it in the top corner from 40 and wins it for Furman.
Yes, sir.
Zach Ramsey play a key role in the number 10 for the Huskies here tonight. Defended well by Ryan Wagner. Here's Jamie Clark, second team in College Cup history to win 4 road matches. UMBC did it in 2014. They fell in the national semifinal. Huskies hoping for a better result tonight. Dunham. There's that press you see from Washington. Both these teams have that same MO. In-your-face transitional press. You're going to see it here tonight. Charlie Kosakov leads the way for Washington. All of his teammates and his head coach were just effusive in their praise of the way he chases you down. If he loses it, he'll get it back.
The ever-ready bunny. Defense starts up top with the 9. Charlie Kosakov constantly playing the angles game right. He's a little bit of old-school nature too. I mentioned that's the identity of this Paladins team. Always right place, right time. The type of striker that just loves to throw himself into the box, working off the back shoulder. Really come into form as of late.
Picked up by Dale. And back to Harrison Bertos. Akulov through. Richie Heyman looking the referee's way. Lucas Feathers hoping for a call. Back to Furman. Richie Amon on that far side. It's a Mac Herman semifinalist, top player in this midfield for the Huskies. Not the biggest stature. In fact, Jamie Clark said he's somebody who might look like a dweeb, but he's the best guy out there, and he wants it now. He gets it. Amon cutting in. Amon looking end line. Amon over the top. The header save. First look for Kosakov, denied by Horvat.
Nearly identical to the breakdown we showed you in the open. Great defending in open field of play. And Balele, notice his hips, drops himself, steps right through it. Now they're off and running. And as the ball makes its way across 6 different players for the Washington Huskies inside the top of the 18, that's where they can really hurt you. Now, what I want to see is if they're able to slow the game down at times. If it becomes wide open, that's going to favor Furman. But if you have the ability at times, take the air out of the game, tactically make Furman work a little bit more, it's going to challenge them, and positionally will be quite difficult.
Yeah, you and I were chatting about that earlier. It's a bit of a catch-22 for the Huskies. A terrific transitional team, but if you play that way, Furman can hurt you. So do you contrast your own style to maybe stymie Furman, or do you just play your own way?
You play your own way, but you have the ability to change a little bit here. Right? The difference between the Huskies and the Furman Paladins is that Furman, they need to be physical. They need to open their game up. While they are decent on the ball, this isn't a tiki-taka type team that's going to break you down in real small spaces. They want to run at you and make you feel uncomfortable.
Caleb Johnson looking over the top. Johnson starts for this team because of that hustle. Johnson loose in front, gathered by Bowen.
They will take chances off the back line. You have to be careful, though. It's a clever touch-up over the top, but Harry Bertos, aggressive. He's got to be cleaner through that ball. Just step right through it. Also understanding that even if he does play this 5-yard ball here, it's still a negative one across, and you've got pressure. Better in that situation, Joe, stand it up, try and pull back to the outside. Worst thing, it's a deep-lying corner. Don't want to give away ball that deep in nature.
And Abulele. Lofi. Dale. Looking through, Amon keeps it in play. Still navigating, feeds it in front. Horvat with it again. Part of it in the early going here, maybe two teams working out those College Cup jitters. But these two teams will play this way in terms of the pacing throughout. It's their MO.
Good news is plenty of pickle juice shots for electrolytes down in the trainer's room pregame. I may have borrowed one. Got to keep the body heat up, you know, up in the gantry.
You might have borrowed two. You were very nice.
Oh.
Well, Lucas Feathers, by the way, calling the foul there on the whistle. He had the whistle a month ago here for the ACC championship game. Very experienced official, one of the best the nation has to offer. You know, this game is in good hands here tonight. Back to Bowen, the only remaining player on the Huskies roster from that 2021 College Cup team. He didn't feature at all for that team, but he was still a part of it. Dale, Kosakov wants it through. Dale looking that way. And the free kick given. Huskies have been good on set pieces. An opportunity here early.
Well, the angle that we had in from behind, really difficult to detect the contact. Coming back across. Oh, he clips him. Great refereeing. Love the run, the advancement of numbers. Again, what you will get is they can squeeze the field, the Washington Huskies. They love to allow Asher Hestad and Gabe Fernandez to come up in the attack. Starts to overload the central locations, which is why you get the cut in. And as we showed you in the open, 6 of the last 8 goals have come off set pieces for the Washington Huskies. The reason being variability. Hard to understand who's going to step up and have a crack.
Ramsey with the left foot, Amon with the right foot. It's just Ramsey now delivering the header. Still loose for Horvat, and he has it. With the service from there instead of the shot. Doug Allison, and 31 years in charge for Furman. They have had to navigate some nervy moments in this tournament. Coming off a 1-0 win on the road against Portland. Before that, penalties needed against Hofstra. And they opened up with a 1-0 win over Western Michigan. It's been tight every game for the Paladins. Abalele, Amen, advantage played. Amen through. Kosakov centering, falls for Amen. And Abalele, and a moment gone for the Huskies. Kosakov very involved early on. 10 goals, 5 assists, leading the way for the Huskies. Well, won by the Paladins along the near sideline, kept in by Stout, chased down by Hestad. Knocked down by Dunham. Second ball picked up by Ramsey. Joe Dale, good foot put in defensively. Dale keeps it in play and wins a corner.
High pressure once again, turnover within the midfield. Enabalele has been excellent, and while it's off a deflected touch, love the vision here, be unselfish. If you're Charlie Kosakov, have a rip it goal. Because of the ball coming back across, Joe, it was 3v1 on the angle. It's a really difficult link-up play, and for a striker that's in form, 10, 15 minutes in the game, keep the goalkeeper honest, have a crack.
13 assists this season for Eamon. A lot of that coming off of set pieces. He stands over the first corner of the evening. Eamon goes short. It didn't work out, but they'll have the second recycled ball here. Eamon. Better service this time from Eamon. Same result. Johnson couldn't quite clear. And now the Paladins clear their lines. There's that pressure from Kosakov, letting the freshman Dunham know he's there. Gabe Cox.
Man, he's been good early, and Enabalele right on it.
Flag comes up, threat ends, Horvat punches away.
Got to recognize the positioning of the midfielder from Washington. If you're wearing a Furman Paladins jersey, as quickly and as high as Enabalele is providing pressure on the front line, you play in behind, or you got to play to the outside. I do like the fact that just prior to that, Joe, it was the set piece called down right in front of us. 2 50-50 balls that Furman picked up. They got to start to build some momentum here.
Going again through Amen, just wide. All the pressure from Washington early, nothing to show for it.
The varying nature of the runs as Eamon starts to work in. He's got support on the overlap, starts to hold the defender. And in that situation, if you're Ryan Ragnar, continue to push him to the outside. You can't get flat. That opens up the path for Richie Eamon. Certainly known for his distributional skills, but he can hit them.
4 goals this season, Big Ten Midfielder of the Year, and all Big Ten first team. Going back to Enabalele for a moment, you mentioned the impact he's had in the midfield to start this game. It's only his 5th start of the season. 4 of those have come in the tournament. He's only come on in this way as of late.
They've started to change some things around within the midfield. The good news for Jamie Clark is he has a plethora of attacking options that can bump up into the midfield and onto that front line. Nick O'Brien involved in that conversation. Chad Sovdi. But Zach Ramsey coming up in has opened up the door for Enabalele to be the counterpart to Connor Lofi.
Ball has not spent much time at this end of the field, but here's Diego Hernandez. Dunham might be in shooting range from what we saw last game. Clips this to Hernandez. Quarter of an hour gone here in Cary. First semifinal of the evening. Glad to have you with us on ESPNU alongside Devin Kerr. I'm Joe Malfa. Neither of these teams have ever lifted the trophy. Second College Cup for Washington, first for Furman. Ramsey. Amon. Saw him shoot a moment ago in on that right foot. Gets to the end line this time. Feeds it. Back to Amon. Flag stayed down. Amon. Lofi over the top and just over Kostakov. Pressure relentless from the Huskies. No whistle, play on. Serve centrally, Dunham off the chest. Hernandez there. Again, it's won back by the Huskies, this time with a free kick. Just feels like they're first to every loose ball right now.
What ends up happening with the advancement, Fernandez on the left, Hested on the right, it does put a lot of pressure on the two center backs, but Akolov and Bertos, they'll chase you up into the pocket. Now the good news is, for the front line of Furman, you can use that to your advantage. The bad news is you got to feel your way around a little bit. I like the idea from Caleb Johnson coming in, just a little bit slow on the angle that allows the center back to step in front.
Ramsey over this one. Amon coming for a short look, leaves it. Sophomore from Redmond, Washington, 6 goals, 8 assists. Ramsey lobs it up. The header off the bar, stayed out, Horvat with it. Mess in front of the goal. Bertos thought he had it. Munson. Cox. Down the other end for the Paladins. Offside.
Nearly for the Huskies once again. Again, 6 of their last 8 dead ball situations. How bad do you want it? That's what this comes down to. As tightly congested as the area is, Harry Bertos, incredibly done from the center back from Washington just to get a flick onto it. And as many chances that are starting to come here, Joe, this is about communication. On the back line for Furman, and Ivan Horvat in goal. You gotta step up and start to push back here, alleviate some of the pressure defensively.
And while they're under it right now, Furman, this isn't necessarily different than what we've seen from them in their path to get here. They've survived, they've found ways, in some ways feel like that team of destiny in Doug Allison's final season, but it hasn't always been pretty. They've just gotten it done.
Well, the great thing about Furman is their relevance within matches, right? Their ability to make you feel uncomfortable. They suffer. There's no problem with that. To your point, in the tournament games, they have hung on a little bit, but they've also thrived the majority of this season because of just that, the 1-goal games, the ability to just maintain a touching distance. Always the belief that's never ending within this group. And that's also something that Jamie Clark will be relaying to his players right now from Washington. Like, they don't regret what's going on right now. The chances are coming aplenty, sure, now. But Furman already within the last 2 minutes, much better job utilization on the outside. The outside backs are getting higher because of it, taking pressure off the back line and opening up some space on the inside.
Caleb Johnson goes down. He's been active in the early going. If you look at the roster for this Furman team and you see some of the stats, you might scratch your head and wonder why Caleb Johnson starts over Wilfred Bustamante, who has 8 goals and 9 assists. We asked them about that. They're both comfortable in their roles. Caleb Johnson will run for days. His goal is essentially to tire out the opposition. Bustamante comes in midway through the first half. So far, Johnson's doing his job.
Keep an eye here, though, as you start to come up high, as good as Washington's been on set pieces. Braden Dunham, Ryan Wagner, 25-5 for Furman. Incredible when you go up high.
Johnson works it back. And with a beat on it the whole way, Bowen.
Devin, you mentioned utilization of the width for Furman. That's exactly what the coaching staff is telling the players. They feel like too often things are too short and too central. They need to either be a little bit more vertical or be willing to go wide a little bit quicker.
But here's what ends up happening, Joe. You come under early pressure, it rattles you a little bit. What you end up thinking mentally is release, let's go. You start to deviate away from what the game plan is coming in. It's leadership, communication from the sideline, and just that that constant belief that has gotten him to this point to get back on track here and start to create more balance in the build.
Travis earns Furman's first corner of the evening.
Furman corner kick to be taken by number 10, Diego Hernandez.
Hernandez drops it in. Still loose, edge of the 6. Bouncing ball cleared by the Huskies. Similar results for both teams after their first corner of the evening. No real threat. It's all the way back to Horvat. Nearly halfway through this first half. Huskies 4 shots, 2 on target. Furman nothing yet, but growing into it the last few minutes. Reed chased down by Dale. Some contact there. Lucas Feathers says play on. A wing play from these two teams. Something to watch all night long. Again, it's the same real principles for both, just that relentless effort to running full intensity. Eamon had Ramsey, held on to it. Now uses Dale. Hestad. Lofi, redshirt sophomore from Kirkland, Washington. You'll hear that a lot from Washington. 19 of 29 on the roster, local from inside the state. Akulov, Eamon. Eamon cuts in. Richie Eamon with an opportunity. Eamon, it's stopped by Horvat. Deflected on the way through.
Man, he's fun, Richie Eamon. Inverted on the opposite side, always wants it on his right foot, not as strong in the left. And that slight hesitation right there took the touch because he felt the pressure of center back Ryan Wagner stepping up. Well done. That's really good defending to just cause that bit of hesitation, allowing Horvat to step up in. That's what you want, right? You're going to get this all night long from Richie Eamon, but much better defending in open space.
Ramsey with it. Keeps it going. Kosakov there. Kosakov, end line. Not the end product they were looking for. Eamon tracks it down. You'll see Eamon float freely. He doesn't have too many defensive responsibilities. They've eased off of those intentionally to free him up a little bit to create and do what he's best at. That did come with a little chuckle from his teammates when we had them sat down yesterday. He was talking about how everybody else is so good in their defensive efforts, and they all just sort of looked at him and chuckled, knowing that he's maybe not known for that himself, but he helps in other ways. Hestad.
There's some real substance to that response from Richie Eamon. What I defend, you know, defended himself in the locker room, and I think the greatest thing that you get out of Richie Eamon defending-wise is going to be his energy, his willingness to chase. It's also something that you can utilize to your advantage if you're Furman on the far side. They've already done so a little bit with Luke Munson. I mentioned this in the open, Joe. The pressure that they're going to hold at times when you start to release more diagonals. So Marion and I just talked about it. The width, yes, but also cross-countering. So you come one way, you pull Washington with you, and then the counter option that comes on the weak side from where it just came from. You shift them one way, you create balance, yes, but it's also extra options by drawing in pressure.
Hangs up there from Ramsey, headed clear. Kulov, cleared again by Wagner. Lucas Feathers says play on. Furman crowd didn't love it. Tough to tell who's who. Both these teams in purple. Eamon Tries to sneak it through. And Kosakov there. Given away on the clearance. Still on here for the Huskies. And Abalele. It's been some nervy moments for Furman defensively. The foul from Washington ends the threat.
Better on the opposite end of the field from Furman defensively.
Entering the picture
Starting
for
to allow
Furman,
some of this
number
pressure to come
17,
in.
Wilford
Still looking for the
Bustamante.
reprieve coming the other direction. And Doug Allison, as you will say numerous times over the course of the evening, has gone to his bench. He has no problem rotating the better portion of 10 players into this game.
Ryan Reed. And number 16, Grayson
Joking
Travis.
about Richie Amon earlier, guys, that's actually been a talking point on the Washington bench. They feel like he's cheating a bit too high defensively right now, knowing that Furman is looking for that switch at the point.
Trio of changes on the Furman side as expected. It's just a time where Wilford Bustamante replaces Caleb Johnson. We'll look for him up top now. 8 goals, 9 assists this season. SoCon all-conference first team. Dale on the turn. Dale feeding in front. Oh, great look. Ends up in the 10th row. But knocking on the door still, it was Hestad who snuck forward.
Has done everything right. You wrong end him defensively here. On the cutback, notice every single player from Furman chasing the play. It doesn't allow you to turn and face to step up into it. Asher Hestad wants that on his right foot. He's got the right positioning. Just got to stay up over top of it.
Coverage of the NCAA championships continues with the Men's College Cup final on Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern on ESPNU. More information on the NCAA Men's College Cup, log on to ncaa.com, the official online home for every NCAA championship. Dale, Kosakov has time. Kosakov squares it back for Amon. Richie Amon end line, corner. They're getting into the spaces, but Furman, their emergency defending has been on point so far. Change on the Washington side. Alex Hall replacing Joe Dale.
He replaces number 14, Joe Dale.
Second corner now for the Huskies. Last time it was Amon. This time it'll be Ramsey, though Amon is there for a short option. Ramsey drops it in. Horvath gets a piece of it and cleared. Player down in the area for Washington. Looked like a collision of the teammates at first glance. That's Hestad who's holding his left leg.
I'm with you on the coming two. Just looked like the way that they landed inside the top of the 6 here for Asher Hestad. It's a pretty good ball. Right atop the 6, moving away from the goalkeeper. Felt like just at the end, cleat right on the calf area. That'll leave a mark. You don't need ice, given the temperature. It's snowing earlier today. I'm assuming the boys from Washington ordered that.
I mean,
part of their rider for the locker room.
I was about to say, like, if you want to be here in December in Cary to lift the trophy, you got to embrace the elements in some capacity. I know it doesn't necessarily get this cold down in Greenville. It does, it'll snow, but not quite the same level that it does for the Huskies.
While they're working back through this for Asher Hestad, you know, you talked about the change for Furman. Bustamante coming in. The thing that I like the most about Bustamante in this situation is the pressure that he can help bring up in front of this back line, who's so aggressive for Washington. He's great in combination play, better with his back to goal than Caleb Johnson. And he's happy to kind of be that guy to work off of everyone. Although he's scoring a ton of goals, he feels like he doesn't have to be that player. But with his willingness to draw in pressure, starts to open up even more space on the outside, which is where they thrive.
It's interesting, we joked that it felt like some of the answers were rehearsed when we chatted with the Furman players. Bustamante maybe most of all. Amon does end up drawing the foul. Lucas Feathers was trying to play advantage, it never came to. tying up that knot on Bustamante. It was just a team-first approach. He knows that he's scoring, but he knows that he's partly scoring because of the work Caleb Johnson does in wearing opponents down. He's totally fine coming in off the bench. This is playing with fire, though, for Furman. You talked about at top of the broadcast, Devin, how good this Washington team has been on set pieces, especially as of late.
Recognize the different looks we've gotten. In-swingers, out-swingers. They're really good at playing short, creating these screens atop the 18 and then working off. But with the vision that you're getting right now out of Kosakov, do not be surprised if he goes direct at the goalkeeper.
Ramsey leaves it. Kosakov on the ground. And Abalele touches it back, blocked on the way through. And I'm a step too slow. Bertos wins it. Numbers still forward. Bertos delivering. And Abalele. Kulov, crossfield. Alex Hall, fresh into the match. Hall. Third-team All-Region player, Alex Hall. 5 goals, 7 assists this season. As he comes in, here's Eamon once again. Fronted by Munson. Good bit of defending from Luke Munson. Eamon nowhere to go, finds an outlet. Kosakov, Dunham. Those two becoming the best of friends here tonight. Dunham. Driven ball in, Hall settles, heavy touch and cleared. 15 to go in this first half. Washington 7 shots. Furman still without one. Pressure has been one way. Furman has withstood. Second College Cup in 4 years for the Huskies. The team 4 years ago was outstanding. It was littered with pro talent. This year's team certainly has guys who will translate to the next level, but maybe a little bit of an underdog.
Oh, what a ball.
Down through. Ramsey! The pressure finally turns into a Huskies goal. 1-0 Washington.
The pressure always consistent centrally, but the numbers that they move up high and then the ability to release their playmakers. One of the counterweights you get bringing on Alex Hall is keeping Richie Eamon consistently on the far side, but you still allow both of them to invert. As he comes in, you got to drop in quicker there. The midfield 3 spread out, and what a run off the back shoulder this is from Zach Ramsey. Coming on the diagonal, just drifting back through. Braden Dunham takes the bait. Beautiful first touch, allowing himself to pick out either side. The commitment of Zach Ramsey, 20 yards and in, has been the biggest talking point when it comes to his development this season.
And maybe the biggest talking point right now for the Washington Huskies when they score first. 11-0-0 in 2025.
Washington's goal was scored during the 32nd minute of play. It was netted by number 6, Zach Ramsey. Also assisted by number 7, Alex Hall. Again,
Furman looking to respond. Munson in behind, deflected, and out for a corner. 2 changes from Furman during the goal celebrations. Gianluca Rizzo and Jack Travis in for Gabe Cox and Connor Stout.
Taking the Furman corner kick, number 10, Diego Hernandez.
Hernandez drops it in. Follow the bouncing ball. Furman tries to settle and cleared out to safety. There was maybe a little bit of worry from Jamie Clark on the Washington side as to how his Huskies group would come out. He noted that every single one of their previous opponents in this tournament, there was added motivation. Washington lost to Oregon State in the regular season. They lost to SMU in the tournament last year. They lost to Maryland in the regular season. Former Pac-12 foes with Stanford. There was an axe to grind with all 4 previous opponents who they beat in the run-up to tonight. But there was no added motivation here. There was no history with this Furman team. So he was a little worried, Jamie Clark, if they would come out with the same fire, Washington. Oh, they've done so.
We get a great opportunity in the lead up to these matches to sit down with players and sit down with the coaches involved in this journey. The interesting tweak to yesterday was we spoke to Jamie Clark first, so he displayed that to us, and then got the players. I understood where he was coming from. When those young men stepped in the dressing room, there was a little bit of swagger about him that I don't think the concern would have been as prevalent as his initial comment.
Swagger and a little bit of like a revenge of the nerds swagger, because we learned what they've been doing while they've been on the road for every single one of these games. Board games.
Yeah, obviously.
Board games that I'd never heard of as well. No Monopoly. We're talking about, there was one that they built French villages or something like that. Never heard of it, but they were having a good time, so that's all that matters. Now Abalele springs it through. Fernandez delivering. Ramsey there. Scored moments ago, was looking to double it, and the foul against Washington right before Ramsey could get anything going. For Ramsey, that was his 7th goal of the season. The substitute Alex Hall had the assist. Hall's 8th assist. So a couple of the usual suspects getting it done for Washington. Hernandez flopped over to the right side now, a slip, but it doesn't matter. Works through anyway to Travis. Jack Travis.
And too much space has been opened centrally for Furman Paladins. Alex Hall, one quick touch, off and running again. 5 players from Washington pushed about 30 yards in. The problem within all of that, although the numbers actually have the advantage for the Furman Paladins, it's that they're stationary in nature and the runs are coming off the backside. 49 goals now for the Washington Huskies, most in the Jamie Clark era. I know you're a numbers guy, Joe. I know you want to know historically where that ranks. Well, the good news is that nowhere near cracking the actual record, which is 86, put up in 1975. So unless there's some ridiculous display that you know about, I think we're safe on the record books.
Yeah, I think we're good. Broke the tie with the 2021 and 2022 teams. Both those teams scored 48.
Any more activity now continuing for Furman. The changes that Doug Allison has made, it's constant. They're always bringing extra numbers in. I mentioned on the first round, he'll go 10 players deep. That's not something out of need. It's something of their DNA. They have the belief that they continue to run deep within their squad, not lose the level, and in terms of the tactical change, bring it up a notch. The biggest concern right now for them is space and continuing to close down these central spots while still creating balance on the width when they start to attack.
Hestad has had his moments venturing forward so far tonight. Hall. And Abalele dinks it through, gets it back, gives it again. Hestad dodges Hernandez, advantage played. Hall into space, back post. Good look. Bowl season begins Saturday with 2 games on ABC and the ESPN app. First at noon Eastern is South Carolina State against Prairie View A&M in the Cricket Celebration Bowl, followed by the bucked up LA Bowl between Boise State and Washington at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific.
A little elbow there,
a little bit of an
extra.
elbow, yeah. That's what happens when you have a player like Kosakov, who is a pest in the nicest of ways. You get under the skin of the center backs, Wagner, Dunham. You get moments like that.
Well, Braden Dunham and Ryan Wagner have top-end speed. The one thing that they don't have in the matchup against Kosakov is that first step. And that's one of the biggest assets that Charlie Kosakov has. I talk about his activity level inside the 18. Well, that's where he finds goals. But to work off of him and his defensive pressure, it's that initial explosion that gives him a 5-yard buffer, drags players with him, but also helps create link-up play with his teammates.
From the free kick, a little scorpion flick on, but Horvat no trouble. Seven to go in this first half. If there's no change in the scoreline, you wonder what the conversation might be from Doug Allison. A Furman side that has been under pressure this whole half. They've yet to register a shot. Outshot 9-0, 3 on target to nothing, and most importantly, 1 goal to nothing. Eamon feeds it through. Kosakov weaving through. Hangs up there for Hall. And Abalele scored last game against Maryland, had visions of another.
That's right back to the pressure. It starts centrally. If you can't build and get Luke Hutzel down underneath to utilize the width, you need more activity. Defensively hasn't been quick enough. Rizzo, Hernandez, and Hutzel got to work a lot more off the ball. We can talk tactics all you want. They are just being outworked right now by the Huskies midfield.
And with all that work comes a little bit of a rest here. Richie Eamon will get the rest of the half off, replaced by Nick O'Brien. Nice at it.
Careful here.
Kosakov chasing, Wagner tracking it down. Oh, gives it away! Kosakov! Round the keeper, Kosakov! Doing what he does best! 2-0 Washington!
How bad do you want it? That's where you're at right now. And Washington, plain and simple, wants it more. Simple ball, release pressure up over the top. If anything, defensively, you reorganize and get to set your line higher and repress. But the pest, that is always going to be Kosakov over the back shoulder. Just hearing the footsteps is enough for the youngster and Ryan Wagner. Not clean enough through the ball. Got to be so decisive here if you're going to play your goalkeeper. You got to scan, peek over the shoulder, and instead, Kosakov, the Energizer Bunny, clean as he can be, the coolest kid in the first half for the Huskies, doubles it.
Was scored during the 40th minute of play. It was unassisted and netted by number 9.
Well, there's a reason that we've spotlighted Kosakov and the work he does off the ball, the relentless pressure. It's been a long night so far for Wagner, for Dunham. Kosakov gets his just due. 11th goal of the season, and maybe none bigger than that one, giving the Huskies a 2-goal lead in the first national semifinal of the evening. Furman looking for some sort of response here at the end of this half. Shout for a penalty, play on to the end line, and out of play for a goal kick. They have not been in a position like this, Furman, in this tournament. They've been in tight games. They've found ways. It's been storybook for Doug Allison. 31st season at the helm, first trip to the College Cup. That includes teams that had Clint Dempsey that only made a third round. A team in the late 90s that made a quarterfinal. This is his first College Cup. Not going the way he'd hoped in what could be, or rather will be, his final game. Retiring at the end of this season. Can his team pull a rabbit out of the hat here? 4 to go in this first half. They trail by 2, and they've not shown many signs of life in looking for a response, being outshot 11-0. Nice at it. Hall Hall has changed the game since he's come on as a sub. Got the assist on the opening goal, has been involved in some other chances. Jack Travis lost his footing, regained it. Bustamante tripped up, advantage played for Hernandez. Slips it through. Hutzel. Dunham. Later it's St. Louis and NC State. Monday the final. Washington starting to think about it maybe. Can they keep this clean sheet into halftime? Dunham. Rizzo looking long. Has a man flicked on. Loose in front for Bustamante. Best moment of the half for Furman. Bolton had it covered in goal. Ramsey. Kosakov. A goal already. Kosakov looking for another. Deflected. Corner.
Really good goalkeeping by Jaden Bolton. The heir apparent to Sam Fowler, an innocent bystander on one end. The way that he steps up in here, making himself really big, I actually like him coming low. A lot of goalkeepers would try and come up and dive on this, would make it easy for the striker to just slip it underneath. Instead, stays low center of gravity, prohibiting the chance to come in behind.
You said he looked like Jamie Clark, and his teammates actually said that's not a bad shout.
I got to be able to get out of here first to make sure that he's okay with that. I'm sure he wants to see out the result as well.
80 seconds to go in this first half, short on this corner routine. And that's one that might need some more time on the training ground should they advance.
Great touch.
Off his line, Bolton looking up. And it is Bustamante. Better tackle put in by Fernandez to win it back. Fernandez, a player who subbed off early in that last game against Maryland, just wasn't the game for him, never came back in. But he's shown well in what has been a relatively busy first half for him. Furman haven't had too many looks going forward, but when they have, they've come down that right side. Dunham. Another corner for the Paladins. Trip Campbell wins it. Have to hurry, 20 seconds remaining. Back to Dunham, numbers flooded forward. Dunham drives it through, a lot of traffic in front, toward goal, but wide. Goal kick, that'll bring us to the end of this first half with Washington up 2-0 on Furman.
This is about belief for Furman right now. Washington, an utter track meet in the first half, ran them off the field. They were better. Tactically, they were more diverse, but if you're Furman, you got to step in and look around and say, who wants to come with me into battle in the second half? You are just one positive change in the second 45 minutes of getting back into this game.
Washington up by 2. They're 11-0 this season when they score first. Have to be feeling good right now about finding a way into Monday's final. For Furman, it's a long road back right now. Marion Crowder standing by with Furman head coach Doug Allison.
Doug, how do you get things going on the attacking side of the ball?
Well, we got to get the ball a little bit deeper in their half because right now we're soaking up way too much pressure. But they're very good. It looks like some of our guys are on ice skates. Okay, so they're going behind us, and we made a mistake there at the end, which we typically don't make to make it 2. So we got to get back. We're going to play a little higher, play a little bit more on them, put some pressure on them in the back.
How do you deal with that central midfield battle in space centrally?
It's tough. I mean, they're good in there. I mean, but we're good in there too. So if we can get a little bit higher and then find the ball off our forwards and then start getting some cross and play our game a little bit more. Now we got the jitters out. It's a better second half.
Thanks, Doug. Good luck.
Thank you.
A 2-0 Washington lead going into the break. It's a long road back for Doug Allison and his group. Alyssa Lang and Patty Foss will have you covered down at the desk at halftime. First of 2 national semifinals this evening. Huskies feeling good, leading by 2. Ready to get things going in half number 2 here in Cary. Washington 2, Furman nothing in the first national semifinal of the evening. Charlie Kosikoff punctuated it with that second goal midway through the first half. It has been all Huskies so far in this one, and our Marion Crowder caught up with head coach Jamie Clark a moment ago.
Brilliant start for your team, Coach. What did you like specifically about the defensive pressure in the first half?
Yeah, we were all over the field. I don't know if we can do it for 90 minutes, but we were really, really good in that first half. So I know the second half won't look like that. They're going to come at us, and I don't know if we'll be able to press as high, but if we can repeat it, we're going to be in a good spot.
You said it yourself. You know this Furman team is playing with a lot of belief for their head coach. It's going to be a long 45 minutes, but how do you protect this 2-0 lead?
Yeah, I mean, we have to defend honestly, and we have to be good in transition. If they're going to put numbers forward, we have to make them pay. Sorry.
Good luck.
Thanks.
Devin, only 3 times this season has Furman trailed at halftime. They've never come back from 2 goals down to earn a result.
Said it coming into the night now. The rough and tumble and the relatability within the group, staying within reach of all of their games. They've been there before. 14 out of their 22 matches, 64% decided by 1 goal or less. And Joe, they only have 1 loss on the season out of those 14. So while this is uncharted territory for the Furman Paladins, their ability to maintain striking distance within a game, they can still get back in.
Jamie Clark was modest. He questioned out loud himself there a moment ago if his team could keep it up for 90. Do you think so?
I believe his team can keep it up. This is about staying mentally locked in and having the ambition to continue to stay locked into a match. Even sitting on the 2-goal lead, you got to keep pressure up.
It's Furman in the black and purple from left to right. Washington in the white with purple trim from right to left. Away we go in half number 2. Alongside Devin Kerr, I'm Joe Malfa. Washington 2, Furman nothing. 45 minutes for the Paladins to save their season and to extend their legendary head coach's career. Don't see Diego Hernandez out there to start this second half for the Paladins. Had his moments in the first half where he featured trying to spring some attacks. Mac Herman, semifinalist, first team all-region. We'll see if he's just getting a rest or if anything transpired. Unusual to see him come off at this stage. There is Diego Hernandez in the middle of your screen in the jacket. Rare to see him miss any time. Off right now, Caleb Johnson back in, up top. Wearing the captain's armband now. Washington picking up where they left off. Amon. Hall. Try from distance here. That's a team that feels good right now in Washington. Harrison Bertos, unorthodox at times. I believe the phrase that was used by Jamie Clark is he'll make some messes, but he'll clean them up. Didn't make a mess there, but you could see he's always ambitious in his moments.
It's his best impression of Braden Dunham. Braden Dunham, left center back from Furman, who, although that one ended up in the parking lot for Bertos, Braden Dunham can really hit it anywhere on the field. You know, playing the game higher, playing a little bit more direct at times. We talked about that in the first half. They talked about it in the halftime show. I'd like more aggression out of the center backs as well. One of the great things you get out of Dunham and Wagner is their ability to push up high and take pressure off of the midfield.
Pressuring again here, the Huskies through Kosikoff. Hall. First time tonight we're seeing Wamu Snell into the mix as well for the Paladins up top. The senior from England. Kosakov out wide.
Defensively, just talking about Braden Dunham. Really tight on Charlie Kosakov, and this is the one thing that Kosakov did really well in the first half, was working back and forth between Dunham and Wagner. That's got to be a higher level of communication here in the second half, and certainly a much better start for this young back line. Again, you don't want to deviate from what you got here, but understanding that this is a very young team in Furman. 9 of 11 starters coming into the match, underclassmen. And while certainly they have created consistency over the year, these are younger individuals who can have a little bit more doubt than some of the experience that comes along with a senior.
Hall picks this up off the giveaway. Eamon wanted it through. Cut off by the Paladins, but space in the middle. Joe Dale knocked off the ball. It's an interesting look right now for the Paladins. We'll come back to that in a moment. Dale, Hall gets end line, looking back for Dale. Deflects out the other way. We start the night with Johnson up top. You've got Bustamante, who typically comes in for Johnson. Hernandez playing underneath in that creative 10 role. None of those three are on the field right now. It's Snell up top.
And they're all competing, though, which is the most important thing. You're trying to get a rise out of your players if you're Doug Allison. The good news is you have energy from everyone. This is a big position for me right here. Hutzel within the midfield. If they're going to build positionally, they like to play with him, not necessarily through him. So they'll use him as a decoy in that 6th spot and play off a little bit, then go around, or they'll drop him deeper. As he drops in, Joe, for Furman, that allows the outside backs to get higher. That creates more consistency in the width, and it also starts to allow that midfield to wander more because you spread Washington thinner.
Chipped over the top, Kosakov pressuring. Feels like every loose ball is won by the Huskies. Hall,
Big
great tackle. Hall looking through again. Friendly fire came off of Eamon's backside. Trip Campbell tripped up. So too was our referee. Lucas Feathers found a wet spot. He's all right. Got a quick ooh and ah from the crowd. Dust off the cleats. He's got a smile on his face.
How's the core workout? I mean, dear Lord.
I will say that's the only foot wrong that we've seen put by Lucas Feathers tonight. Clean first half.
It's a stark difference than what we saw on the practice field behind us yesterday by yours truly.
I told you should have stretched. I told you should have stretched.
The heart wants what it wants, Joe.
Well, Patty Foss, you guys heard at halftime, he's got a replaced hip. You've got a replaced meniscus. I've had hip surgeries. We had the bright idea to try it in race. I was the bright one who pulled out and filmed it, so we have the documented evidence, and your groin's not doing so great right now.
Just felt like being partially bionic. I had a really good fighting chance. That's not the case. The good news is mentally I'm still very strong, but the off-season regimen has certainly changed now.
I don't know if you could pressure the way Kosakov can. He's got a better first step than you, I think that's for sure. Speaking of the pressure, that was part of our conversation with Washington yesterday as well. In that game against Maryland last round when they won 3-1, they never sat back to defend after they took that 2-goal lead. They defended by pressuring more. I'm curious if we continue to see that approach here tonight from the Huskies, once again defending a 2-goal lead in the second half. Munson. Hutzel. Switched out wide for Campbell. Trip Campbell taking on Alex Hall. Campbell delivering.
It's a better look overall, though, what they've done with this front line. Grayson Travis, Ryan Reed, Usually Travis is on the right. He started to go to the left a little bit. They've narrowed their runs, so they're very aggressive. It is a gamble, Joe, in the sense of as tight as it can be there, you're releasing some space on the outside. That means the midfield's got to move quicker. Your outside backs have to be stronger, but if you can win those turnovers, that's where the numbers up high will start to benefit you.
36 minutes and counting, perhaps, in Doug Allison's coaching career. Kosakov knocks it down. That's an underrated part of his game, his ability to hold up, knock down for others. And a free kick for the Huskies. As cliche as it is, the next goal, an important one, if there is one, as we always talk about in this game. There's a reason people always say 2-goal lead is the most dangerous. Furman gets the next one, they're right back in it. Washington gets the next one, this game is all but over. Crowd continuing to grow here now in Cary in anticipation of NC State, the local team, coming up next, as they'll take on St. Louis for maybe a spot against Washington in Monday's final. Floated in off the free kick. There was some contact in there. Don't know first look if it was enough to rise to a penalty. Dunham. Just doesn't really feel like Furman has the answers right now. Washington into every passing lane, deflecting balls. Pressure is just relentless. Finally get it across midfield, and then that happens.
Well, the good thing, though, for this Furman team, Joe, is even on that movement, space is there. But when the ball comes off of the center midfielder, Hutzel, and on a Braden Dunham, don't take 3 touches right now when 2 will do. When the run comes to the outside, the anticipation of where that space is and how you're going to get that angle in has to be a half a second sooner. A little bit slow in their reaction, allowing Washington to sit behind the ball.
Something could be on here, fed in front, cleared. Akalov working back. Amon. Some traffic, thought he was fouled as he glanced Lucas Feather's way. Play on. Amon back to his feet. And now the whistle blows. No indication from Lucas Feathers if it was for a foul on the far side or if it's what happened here. Now we have the signal. It's for possible head injury to Amon. Was alerted by the 4th official that Amon was holding his head. Lucas Feathers doing the right thing here, waving the trainer on. Has to be looked at if it's a head injury, and Amon has to come off.
The argument, though, that you heard from the crowd mics there, head coach Jamie Clark from the Washington Huskies, was, why are you stopping it and allowing them to play on the far side of the field? If you're considering this a head injury right here and you want to come and take a look, you got to call it right away.
It was right at the end there, that little knee to the head in defense of Lucas Feathers. I don't know if he saw that. He turned to follow the ball. So on the first infraction, it wasn't a head injury. Then that came about, and he went back and got the word from his 4th official.
You love the referee, brethren. You guys stick together, man. Just hoping that he popped up really quick, which is good for Richie Amon. Immediately was actually upset that he had to come off the field. This is the right thing to do, proper protocol.
Gave up my license 3 years ago, but forever a part of the fraternity. And Richie Amon is back out there for Washington. And Abalele tries the right side. Hall with an assist already, floating it in. Horvat has it. Amon. Space, options, lays it off for Kosakov just beyond his reach.
Really disciplined defensively, though, for Washington. Didn't throw a ton of numbers forward, so even on the turnover, they were set. Still decision-making. This ball could have come to Ryan Reed 5 seconds ago on the initial ball outside.
Reed cutting in. A corner coming for Furman, bench clapping it up. Is this their way to find a way back into this game? Their fourth corner. Furman friends and family down at this end of the field where the corner kick is being taken, making all the noise. Members of the bench for Furman turned around to wave them on.
Taking the Furman corner kick, number 24, Connors Stout.
With Hernandez off the field, Stout will come over to take the corner. Stout drops it in. And Abalele gets there. Yes. One back by the Paladins, and Abalele continues to pressure. Dunham. Gabe Cox floating it long. Numbers still forward after the corner. Easy for Bolton. This has been better from Furman, responding to Doug Allison whenever it was said at the break. New wrinkle with the lineup decisions he's made to begin this second half.
Oh, it's going to be a
dangerous one.
Yeah.
He knows it too. Cox strolling away, gives the thumbs up. He knew the yellow was coming.
To be fair to Gabe Cox, the amount of numbers that were coming forward on the width, you really had to in behind. This is the depth of the Washington Huskies at its finest right now. The Swiss Army knife of Joe Dale. Work him onto the back line at outside right back, bump him up high, replacing Alex Hall, push him into the 10 and be the complement with energy next to Charlie Kosakov.
Alex Hall standing over at difficult distance and central location here. Doesn't amount to anything. So far, if there's a silver lining for Furman, they've been able to neutralize the set pieces of Washington. They've been so good on those coming in. They have not really given an inch in those moments to the Huskies. A little bit uncharacteristic of Washington, actually. Coming into tonight, only 16 first half goals compared to 31 second half goals. They net there too early in the first half.
Joe, you mentioned the positive response from Furman, but some early warning signs from the Washington bench. After that last Furman chance, head coach Jamie Clark turned to the players on the bench saying entries into the final third have to end with shots, because otherwise we invite transition and we're too expansive.
Kosakov trying to make this three so they could breathe a bit easier defensively. Lays it off to Hall. Through for Amon on the turn. Amon. Kosakov. Patient, brings it back, not forcing anything. Good move. Hour in, half hour remains. Washington 2, Furman nothing. Dinked through toward Hall. Ushered away by Dunham. Third goal for the Huskies would be sweet. Breathe a bit easier, but also something that stuck out from our conversation with Jamie Clark. They know that they're here to win 2 games, not just 1. He said if we lose on Friday or we lose on Monday, it doesn't matter. We're here to win 2 games. You get a third goal, you can start making some lineup decisions to preserve some guys for Monday.
He's already done some of that. Mentioned Joe Dale, the ability to get a breather for Zach Ramsey. What a luxury, by the way. Zach Ramsey, the opening goal scorer, as high as he pushes to give him a rest. And also, tactically be able to convey some of the things that you're seeing once you come back onto the field, relaying them to your teammates. One of the things they're doing a really good job right now is they're starting to push numbers up by pinning the back line back. The problem is they don't have enough movement, Washington, centrally. So that's why a lot of those chances that Jamie Clark was talking about, they're ending because they're really flat. They don't have depth on the cutback or link-up play as we're so accustomed to seeing.
Game number 2 is not too far away, and the teams have arrived. St. Louis and NC State in the building. It's coming up at 8:30 Eastern here on ESPNU. As it stands, it'll be those two teams for a chance against Washington in Monday's final. It's really been about the color purple so far tonight with Washington and Furman, but we're starting to see the smatterings of red pick up.
Do we think the NC State band is taking requests? And if so, how do we get that down to them? I know you're a big fan of Flight of the Bumblebee. Let's see what I can do.
I don't want you dancing to any requests with the groin at the moment. We need you for Monday as well.
Yes, Lord!
Munson.
Yes.
Dropped in Snell. Munson made the overlapping run. It's just difficult right now for Furman, finding those spaces in the attacking third. They're there in the midfield. Dunham pulls up. Not the same result as the Portland game. 0 for Doug Allison in what could be his final game. As the clock continues to tick, the biggest impression that he leaves is the people he's gotten to work with. Clint Dempsey was somebody he spoke at length about. 141 caps, 57 goals for the United States. 3 World Cups, Premier League, MLS Best 11, All-American back in 02, All-Freshman in 01. Doug Allison broke up at one point, just talking about Dempsey and the relationship with a bunch of different players. That's what he's going to miss the most if this is it here tonight. They retired his jersey earlier this year, August 31st, against Duke, on a night that actually doubled as one of the first inklings that this Furman team could make a run. We asked the players yesterday when they felt they could be this team, and they said it was that night against Duke when they went toe-to-toe. Knocked down by Hall. Eamon calling for it, sneaking his way through. Hall to Kostakov. Kostakov getting past Dunham. Great tackle.
Really good defending. Braden Dunham. This is the matchup we were excited about. We talked about it at the beginning of the second half. But as quick as that first step is, this is about athletic ability from Braden Dunham. The first step, yes, Charlie Kostakov gets him, but what a recovery by Braden Dunham at that left center back position. Joe, you're going to leave your feet. You better make sure you're getting the ball. Excellent defending from Furman.
That's a freshman in Dunham making that snap judgment and executing in that moment. Now from the corner. Snell gets to it. Look back, wanted a foul. Recovered by the Huskies. Almost halfway through this second half. And we're going to see the return of both Bustamante and Hernandez. Fresh legs after a bit of a break. The two key cogs in this Paladin attack. Was a bit odd to not see them at this point. Starting the second half, different look from Furman. Doug Allison going back to his best now for the final push. Akalava. Just behind Eamon, and Abalele wins it back. He's been outstanding tonight, and Abalele disrupting defensively, helping distribute in the attack. Again, a player who's only recently starting here in the tournament. All season long had been coming in off the bench in his 21 appearances, but started these last few games. Pushed ahead by Dale. White to Hall. Alex Hall goes for a goal. Horvat punches away. Out for a corner. 5th corner coming for the Huskies. And here come the changes for Furman.
Still too slow. for Furman overall. Even with the ball to the outside, the reaction to get up in his face, you're allowing the attacker to dictate the game. And they're just chasing right now to chase show. There needs to be much better intent from the first line of confrontation up high. If you want to push Washington one way, that's fine. But that's about communication, tightening up the marks, and really making them feel the pressure instead of just going through the motions and allowing them to retain the possession. They're controlling too much of this game.
Trip Campbell and Gabe Cox, the two sacrificed. Bustamante and Hernandez back in. Now the corner for Washington. Amen drops it in. Stumbling down was Dale. Keeps his feet. Wins a throw. There's a lengthy chat there from Harrison Bertos as he comes across. He thought he was fouled in the box there. There's Diego Hernandez from Mesquite, Texas. SoCon Player of the Year this year. 10 goals, 9 assists. Really his breakout season. Last year was his first year back after a torn ACL that he tore on his first day in training as a freshman. Last year, 17 appearances, knocked in 2 assists, but this year, the breakout to 10 goals and 9 assists. Did not get the flick on that long throw.
Devin, that last comment you made about Furman being too slow, particularly getting to the wide channel, that's exactly what Doug Allison told both of the substitutes that came in. He said, get it out quicker, get it out on the first pass, and then be committed to that early run in behind the Washington back line.
They're doing a really good job of giving him direction. We're picking it up from the crowd mics. I can hear the players talking. This is about the comment at the end of the first half to Marion's point. I can give you any game plan you want. You got to go do it, though, right now. You got to dig down, eat. 22 minutes to go. There's a national championship on the line. Nobody's going to care about the numbers or the fact that you got to the College Cup. How bad do you want to get back into this game and go be impactful? It's about desire.
And a position that Furman has not fared well in this year and has rarely been in this year for a team that has lost just one game, unbeaten in the last 14 at 12-0-2. Again, they have not come back from 2 goals down to win a game this season. Only 3 times have they come back from down 1. Not all wins in that regard either. Moments during the year where you actually invite adversity because you know it'll strike later. It's almost been a bit of a curse here tonight that this Furman team hasn't faced that much adversity. They have been in relative cruise control. Dunham, the long throw, flicked on, loose in front. Washington able to work it clear. Can they break out? Kosakov wants it. Amen looking that way, continues to stride away. Great tackle put in again by Dunham on that back line. Amen. Kosakov flanking, over to Kosakov. Horvat, no trouble. It's interesting the position this Washington team is in. Last game they beat Maryland. Some of the conversation in the local media after that Maryland loss was they just didn't face much adversity as of late. They go up against a Washington team that is just in your face and they couldn't find a way. It almost sounds like tonight in a way for a Furman team that has been cruising. 14 unbeaten, 12 wins, 2 draws. You don't want to be behind against an in-your-face team like the Huskies. It's so difficult to find a way back. Maryland learned that last game. Furman learning it tonight. Just over 20 until Washington is back into the national final for the second time in 4 years. Zach Ramsey coming in for an Abalele.
Returning for Washington, number 6, Zach Ramsey.
Ramsey, you have to win me. You don't turn your back.
Amen. Fernandez. Dale will leave it for Hall. starting to feel like if this game has a third goal, it's going to go Washington's way. They're starting to mount that pressure again. They withstood that little flurry from Furman about 10 minutes into this second half. And they are on the front foot again, Washington. Hall. Dale works it back.
Oh, easy. Now we're getting very crafty.
Do they seem confident to you?
They definitely still seem confident. I don't like the decision making overall, 30 yards and in. Commentators curse.
Hall sneaks it in front, cleared. Space, flag stayed down. Hall had it blocked. Falls for Dale, back to goal. Back to Hall, and Horvat makes the save. They're smelling blood in the water right now, Washington. Bundesliga returns on Saturday with the top 10 matchup. Bayer Leverkusen and FC Cologne. Coverage starts at 12:30 Eastern on ESPN Plus and the ESPN app. Wamu Snell, center your picture, wearing the number 9 for Furman. Been nursing an injury for a little while, has been relegated to a reserve role because of it, giving all he can give tonight. Went 21 minutes to the quarterfinal against Portland. He's really pushing the outer limits of what he can give right now. The senior playing his probably final game with Furman if this continues on. What can he possibly provide up top as a spark? Try and rewrite the ending right now.
Good news is they've added the extra number up top with Wamu. Grayson Travis still able to join them. The bad news is there's not enough communication. One checks in, they're both working together. They don't have the ability to work off of each other. That moment on the far side, it's great work right off the ball, but as soon as you pick your head up, there's no other option. That's just about communication, Joe, in the moment, and making sure you're continuing to give yourself support.
Caleb Johnson will take Snell's spot now. As I mentioned, we're starting to touch the outer limits of what Snell can give. He left it all out there. Johnson comes in, Rizzo comes back in for Travis, fresh legs up top.
Entering the pit for Furman, number 19, Landon Hill.
Landon Hill comes back as well for the Paladins. Dunham's long throw, knocked down by the Huskies. Dunham on his preferred left foot, blocked off the chest by Dale. Hernandez trying to force it through. There was no lane, and Kostakov comes away.
Number 20, Ryan Reed. And number 16, Grayson Travis.
Kostakov finds Dale. (11-0) this season when they score first, Washington. 16 minutes away from making that 12, from punching a ticket into Monday's final against either St. Louis or NC State. Amon. Crowd continuing to fill out in anticipation of that next game. Wolfpack Nation set a record for a home crowd in Raleigh this season. And they are here in full force, continuing to enter the gates. Amon commits the foul after he was knocked off the ball. Let's go Huskies chant starting to ring out. Munson trying to silence that crowd. Munson to the back post, all the way through. alluded to it a short while ago, Devin. I don't know if the answer to anything right now for Furman is anything other than just execute.
There's one thing that you always want from your players, and it's effort. And it's not that they're not giving it right now. It's just not a high enough of level. First balls, winning the second ones, work rate off of it, all favoring the Huskies.
Eamon to try and ice this one, cutting in, poked away by Dunham. Still Eamon. Kosakov through, save made by Horvat. Ball loose in front. Drop back in front, Eamon saved off the line! Remember that moment if it sparks the Paladins. Hutzel. Munson.
Big boy tackle.
Fernandez wins it clean. Eamon. Here Jamie Clark shout, just pass it, as Eamon was looking. Kosakov, did he hold his run? Doesn't matter. Horvat gets there.
That's unreal last-minute defending here on the little cutback across. Watch this touch. Good job just to hold it up, Joe, and allow numbers to get behind the ball for Furman. Incredible goalkeeping from Ivan Horvat. Just makes himself big atop the 6. Reaches back behind him. Brute strength. And then the clearance off the line. If they're able to get anything out of this from Furman, give credit to Munson and Dunham. They've done a really good job in those isolated one-on-one situations to help this defensive unit.
Hernandez switches. Service comes in. Headed away by Bertos. A two-striker look now for Furman. They had options on that service. Kosakov, a one-man army right now, going 1v2. Eamon trying to join. Kosakov continues on. Dunham cuts him off. A lot of contact there. Goal kick the call.
That's class, by the way, on the backside. Good sportsmanship. Just talking about the one-on-one capability. You know, that little hesitation, it's one of the scariest things for a center back, Joe. Is he cutting behind me? Instead, the anticipation there by Braden Dunham, knowing that he can only take it to the left, getting back up to speed, creating the contact, and again, pushing Kosakov aside.
We've talked about it throughout the night. It's a young Furman team, and Dunham is one of those freshmen. If anybody watching tonight did not know he was a freshman, it would stay that way.
Yeah.
Wise beyond his years. Terrific season he's had. First team all-conference as a freshman. Munson. Won by Eamon. Under 12 remaining. Washington. Starting to sense a spot in Monday's final. Frustration maybe starting to grow on the Furman side.
Still need more out of the midfield here. You know, they've done a better job defensively of locking it down, but as they continue to get high, slow in recognition. You know, coming in, Joe, I said the best that this team is when they quickly change the direction of play and the utilization of the width. Haven't seen that tonight. Gotta really commit to that process.
Kosakov with one goal already. Deflection maybe prevents a second, but it does yield a corner.
Guess who? And Braden Dunham. This young man, look at this, comes back across the body, over the shoulder. Kosakov does a really good job to get himself into perfect position. But Braden Dunham, this young man, recovery defending, physicality of play, high level here from the youngster on the back line.
Ramsey drops it in, fumbled by Horvat, loose in front, cleared. Wide again for Ramsey where this all started. Kosakov gets a flick on. And out for a goal kick. Kosakov, as we've talked about, has been very active. If he feels more active than normal, it's true. It's a career-high 7 shots now for him tonight. Coverage of the NCAA championships continue to the Men's College Cup final on Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern on ESPNU. For more info on the NCAA Men's College Cup, log on to ncaa.com, the official online home for every NCAA championship. Jack Travis back in for Caleb Johnson. It was
That's
a very
risky
quick
ball.
look.
Watch out, numbers.
Ramsey carrying, trying to chip it through for Amon.
Again, going back to the tactics, the communication is there. Doug Allison was requesting this ball quickly to come long. They're just not listening and letting it go. The emotion is starting to overtake the performance for the Paladins. There's still 9 minutes left, and you and I together have seen some ridiculous things inside of 10 minutes. Plenty of time for 2 goals. It's just got to start with 1. Clean up the decision making, and you still have a chance to be back in this game.
And you still have a chance to extend Doug Allison's career. 31st season at the helm, retiring at the end of this season. Poetically makes his first college cup in his 3 decades of success at Furman.
The good news for Furman, I would say, is although some of the decision making still lacking, right? Especially in impactful moments, not being able to get out on the width.
Dale. Still Dale. Horvat. Amon very frustrated on this near side. He wanted that ball immediately.
The space is there. The Washington Huskies are starting to labor a little bit. This is what ends up happening. Talked about it in the first half, Joe. If this becomes an end-to-end game, it does favor Furman. So if you're Jamie Clark right now, you want your guys to be understanding positionally where they need to be on the defensive side of the ball, but also keep it. They're the one on the field right now that if they keep it, you make the opposition work. They're much more adept with the ball at their feet than Furman are.
Each moment like this is a chance for Washington to take a few extra seconds off. About to see the return of Asher Hestad for Washington. Told it's going to be for Richie Amon. So this attack could be Amon's final involvement. Fernandez. Seven to play. Washington 2, Furman nothing. Goals in the first half by Zach Ramsey and Charlie Kosakov, 2 of the usual providers for the Huskies. For Kosakov, it was his 11th of the season. For Ramsey, his 7th. And Amon will give way. Hestad returns.
Asher Hestad.
With a 2-goal lead, 7 to play. This could be part of that conversation we had earlier where Jamie Clark is looking at 2 games to win. Not just getting to Monday, but winning Monday.
Asher Hestad also gives you more defensive coverage on the opposite side of the field. He's good in open areas of defending, which as the game continues to widen itself will be necessary. He'll stay a little bit closer to Zach Meyer than we see with Alex Hall. As Alex Hall comes to this near side, he's got to make sure that he's in constant contact with Fernandez in behind, as aggressive as Munson is coming. Help provide defensive support.
Hernandez looking through, it falls. And the pressure turns into a throw. Furman crowd down at this end trying to will them on. Under 6 to play, they need to score twice. Launched by Dunham. Bolton comes through with it. Munson. Very quiet night it's been for Diego Hernandez. Rizzo. No lanes. Washington has been perfect defensively. Hall. Kosakov. Switches, flag stays down, chance to end this one! The exclamation point for the Huskies! Asher Hestad punches that ticket into Monday's final.
Positional pressure, an absolute nightmare over the course of the evening for the Paladins. And as they work to the near side of the field, love how calm in nature the Huskies are on the turnover. You don't rush the decision making. If you're Alex Hall, if anything, you're a bit nonchalant, but in that slow decision, you also allow your teammates to start to push up high. Talked about the right foot of Kosakov. Great decision making to cut this back across. Not only does it wrong foot the center back, it allows him to pick out his teammate and support on the far side of the field. That quick scan to see the oncoming run. The first touch, sublime, and an absolute perfect finish into the upper corner. Hestad, known for his aggressive defending, still has an absolute rocket in the arsenal for the Huskies to push them into the final.
Washington's third
Redshirt freshman, second goal of his career. Big Ten All-Freshman team in 2025. The assist went to Kosakov. Can they add a fourth just for good measure? Save made, rebound in front, tucked in by Hall. And the offside flag negates it.
Offside indicated against Washington. Offside.
Ooh.
Certainly didn't feel like it was on that ball. Was on that one? Oh, that's tight.
I think this is going to become a goal.
I got to tell you, if he comes and takes a look here,
At
least from the initial vantage point that we had, looked like he was in an onside position, Alex Hall.
Lucas Feathers over to the monitor.
The previous play is now under video review.
From the look we saw, this one,
That's tight. Again, it's just a little bit off center when this ball is released. Angled a bit, and because of that, it's going to make Lucas Feathers' job that much more difficult. See? Your eyes tell you he could be in an offside position, but the angles game starts to play tricks on your mind.
you do see that microphone. Our left, Lucas Feathers right. He will make an announcement when he has come to a verdict. Rolling it back and forth. I'm with you. It's one that whatever the call was, if it stands, sure. If it's changed, sure. Real gray area, real tough. Glad I'm not Lucas Feathers right now. To be fair, in the grand scheme of things, might not mean a thing. 4 minutes left, already 3-0 Washington. Window dressing at this point.
Regardless of the outcome of the goal, Jamie Clark, head coach of Washington, saying to us, our wingers, Richie Amon, Alex Hall, and Alex Hall coming off the bench. At their best, they are the two best playmakers in the country. And over the course of tonight's events, that has certainly been the case. Patience, timing, the quality to possess in times of necessity, but also when they need to hit go. They are incredible in transition.
Trying to get inside the mind of Lucas Feathers. Oh, here we go.
After review, the call of offside is going to stand.
There it is. Call stands. Once he brought his fourth official over, we've had him for games this year, Lucas Feathers.
Yes.
Is excellent. Once he brings the fourth official over, from what we've learned about him this year, it seems like he's just trying to reconfirm his call, just a tendency from the referee.
To your point about real time.
Offside stands.
Real time, if he calls that a goal, not so sure we see it overturned. Right? That's how tight the margin was.
Devin, you're spot on. That's exactly what he said. He said he felt with that angle that he had, it was not definitive enough to rule the field, the call on the field opposite way.
That is 3 times tonight that Marion has used the words spot on for you.
Yeah.
It's rare. Enjoy it.
You know, I'm just trying to I'm trying to take the compliments when I can get them. It's not often, so appreciate you, Marion. Always busy on the sideline.
Entering the pitch for the Furman Paladins, number 2, Reese Frankel.
Rumor is there's some quality chicken fingers floating around that I'm hoping are in my future.
And number 21, Jackson Price. They replace number 15, Jack Trappin. 27, Luke Munson. And number
Handful of
33,
changes now for the
Dave Buck.
Paladins, emptying the bench a little bit with reality setting in. 4 minutes to go, a 3-0 lead for Washington, who will turn their attention to either St. Louis or NC State in Monday's final. And with that, the coaching career of Doug Allison is going to come to an end. 31 years in charge of this Furman side. Came into tonight 10th on the all-time active wins list at 365. 9-time SoCon Coach of the Year, 4-time United Soccer Region Coach of the Year. He's in the University of South Carolina Hall of Fame as a player. Came over from Bath, England. As we asked him yesterday, what'll stick out the most again is the relationship with the players. The volley here! Not so fast! Maybe a last gasp. Putzel scores!
Got to retain belief. That has certainly been the identity of the Paladins, their ability to stay within matches. Wanted them to be direct all night long. Haven't gotten it, but this is why. You don't get to the first one, go win the second ball, go win the third ball, unleash fury on the opposition. Only 3 minutes to go, but if anything, good news for Allison that character still within this group.
Putzel, the sophomore, with his 5th of the season. Dale tries to weave his way through. He's brought down. Referee says play on. Attack continues for the Huskies. Hestad, who just scored moments ago, hesitates. Hestad just wide.
Easy answer, Hestad. 1 goal on the year coming in. All of a sudden, golden boot form. That rocket on the far side to give him 3 on the night, and then a little cutback.
Oh, he heard you say, what is it, 86 goals, the record for Washington? They're
well on their way.
there.
There you go.
Ramsey, under 2 to play. Toward the corner. Hall wisely takes it. And he'll keep it there. It was the same scoreline last round, Washington over Maryland. Free kick for the Huskies will continue to bleed the seconds off this clock, now 90 remaining.
Furman's goal was scored by number 6, Lou Kutzel. It was netted during the 87th
Jamie
minute of
Clark.
play.
It's another trip to the College Cup final. They were there in 2021. Unfinished business, this team. The only common thread as far as players go, Jaden Bolton. We asked the players yesterday about
1 minute remaining in regulation.
how that weighs
1
on
minute.
them, and they all pointed to their goalkeeper Bolton as that common thread, and they've heard the stories. They know how it felt. The conversations are there, and they have an opportunity now to get it back on Monday, be it St. Louis or NC State. Flag stays down here. More about the save. Doug Allison's career will come to an end. Leaves behind a legacy of the likes of Clint Dempsey and Walker Zimmerman, Ricardo Clark, and names you maybe haven't heard of that have gone on to success in other areas of life that he was quick to point out that make him the proudest and bring a tear into his eye. But this Furman Paladin outfit will have their run cut short tonight. 10 seconds remaining. The Washington Huskies will be playing for a national championship on Monday. They win it 3-1 over Furman.
1-0. Final score, Washington 3, Furman 1. With tonight's victory, the Huskies.
Ramsey scored the first. Kosakov scored the second. Hestad supplied the exclamation point third. The winning goal goes to Kosakov. Hutzel made it interesting in the closing moments with the goal for the Paladins. But it's Washington moving on to Monday night.